Let them come.
Hey everyone, this is Arnobliss98, and continuing with the Autobots, we have Wheeljack. And the movie's finally out in theaters. I would highly recommend watching it. I seriously had fun with it. And this video will have minor spoilers for the movie, just so I can talk about accuracy and small details, but nothing regarding the plot, unless it was revealed in a teaser or a trailer. And this guy is easily the hardest Rise of the Beast build for me to design so far. There's just a lot going on with its design, especially since the vehicle mode is a straight up brick and it kind of turns into a robot mode with tons of tiny distinct features. And I think I did a really good job, even if some details aren't perfect. And I know this is easily the most controversial design of the movie, but I quite like it for Wheeljack. It's very different, and I especially like how kind of silly his robot mode is. And of course, if you want to build him, there are free PDF instructions over on Rebrickable, so you can make this goofy guy yourself. And to start, here he is in his Volkswagen van mode, and this thing was a challenge design, even though it is basically a giant brick, like I said. There were two major challenges for this mode. The first was that I wanted the bottom to be median nougat, so certain hinges and certain brackets were not in that color, so I had to design him around that color. And secondly, there had to be a clear separation of color from the top to the bottom, and I think I did a pretty good job. It's a little messy with some hinges and there's some gaps here and there, but it's as good as I can get it. And spinning him around, you can see all the little details. Even the back is covered up pretty well. And taking a look at the vehicle mode, the nice clear windows, and you got the front mirrors, the Volkswagen symbol. I kind of tried to make that little V shape here, and the bumper. And then unfortunately this area is not flat, so you can't stick like a Pablo TV sticker, which kind of sucks. And you got the rear windows, and these little nubs are actually for the robot mode. And I also really like how this rear bumper turned out with the lights. The bottom is pretty clean, not much going on here. The top is very messy though. This should just be a perfectly flat slab, but that's alright. And then you can actually open the doors more for transformation, but they actually do tab in. That, and then you can just open them. You can see the head is inside. And he rolls alright. There's not much clearance for the front wheels especially. And he does have opening doors, not really how they function in the movie, but you can see through the middle. Obviously RC unfortunately does not fit inside, but I do have some Lego butterflies here, and you can load them all up. And then close all this up. And I forgot to mention, this alt mode is rock solid. There's a lot of tapping points. And for a size comparison, we got Ravage and a minifigure. Studio Series Last Night Hot Rod. Here he is with Rise of the Beast Mirage. And I think the scaling is pretty well. I don't think the Volkswagen bus is much longer than an average sports car, so I think they scale very nicely. And here are all my Rise of the Beast Autobots so far. They scale really well together, except RC, who is a little bit oversized. And here he is with RC in her robot mode. You can recreate the chase scene, though RC is a bit too big. And now for the transformation. It's quite smooth and there's a lot of tapping points, so it works out very nice. And first we have to just peel this forward and you can reveal his head. And next you have to just pull out the doors. These tab the arms into place. That, and then fold these sections up. Oops, forgot about the butterflies. And this is one of the final tabs to keep the vehicle mode in place. You just unfold these and this will start to fold outwards. And coming out of here, you gotta pull out kind of his suspenders. And these panels here are just gonna rotate upwards and cover the wheels. And fold the mirrors up. And next we deal with the chest. It's on like a multi-hinge system. You gotta press the center here and this will start to wiggle up. And same for this section. And then coming down to here, the arms, you have to, this whole thing is the arm, so you have to fold it forward and rotate this around. And this section is going to rotate around, and it's this on the underside of this plate is going to catch right onto this bar. Just move it up and click it into place, and also fold this around just like that. And to finish out the arms, you rotate this around and then fold in the hand. And same for this side. And next we grab this flap, and for now we're just going to put it over the head. And coming over to here, just grab these sections and split it. You can see the pin and just keep splitting the legs. And we gotta peel this mess apart and split it so you get this whole section here. And these bits are going to become the actual feet. You rotate this around, rotate it back, and then peel all this around like this. And next you're going to just hinge it out. And on this joint system, this is going to rotate around like that. And next for the side, fold this in, rotate this around, and rotate all this around. And finally angle this and just wiggle this down. And then peel these sections out. And this was the back of the van mode. And now this section is rotated out of place. There's a little gap, so this can all pass through. And as you do that, you want to rotate this around and then set it into place so that the rear lights get covered up. And same for this side. Just rotate this, it's pretty fluid, and then you rotate this around. And these are going to fold out to become the fake lights on his thighs. And then straighten out the legs. You're going to rotate this down and rotate this down. Put the wheels into position. And then taking these panels, shift them out, and then fold them down, and then push them back into place. Just like that. Just to move the legs around a little bit. And then finally, all this is on this extra hinge here. You want to set this down like that. And then he can stand on two legs. And next we're going to deal with this mess of hinges. Make sure the doors are angled upwards. And you can fold this down for now. And straightening all this out, you can see this is what makes the center of the van. What you want to do is take this upper one, fold it up like that. You can fold this back up. And then accordion this back. This extra hinge. And then all this will sit into place. And then you can wiggle the doors upwards. And take this back section, fold it in like this, fold it like that. And then the front windshield, these two parts are gonna just sit in, and this one's just gonna hang out like that. And now for the chest. This is pretty interesting. You want to reopen the chest again, and these panels are gonna fold down, and this is the bumper. All this is gonna accordion underneath where the Volkswagen logo is, Autobot logo, just like that. And now this will allow everything here to sit flat. You can straighten out the mirrors, angle up the doors, and then you can take his suspenders, and the little tips of the sausages, they're made from the sausage pieces, are going to tab right underneath the chest pieces, like how they do in the movie. It's a little bump. And finally, coming up to his butt, you got to spread the little plates out like that. And there you have Wheeljack in his robot mode. And spinning him around, you can notice he's a lot chunkier than his CGI model, solely because of how square the alt mode is. And he also has a relatively big backpack, though it doesn't stick out that far. And he has a nice blend of medium nougat and tan. And starting off with his head, I'm glad I captured his big nerdy glasses in. I really like this part of the design. And also he has the big suspenders made with the sausage pieces, and they have a nice curvature here. And they kind of tab the chest pieces in place. And then you have this part is the front bumper, and you got the Volkswagen Autobot logo. And his arms are a bit bulkier than what's on the CGI. I couldn't recreate that fender shape of his shoulders perfectly. And his forearms are a bit bulky too. And the legs, we have the fake lights on the thighs. There's a lot of weird fake parts I couldn't really figure out, as well as the rear bumper on the bottom of his leg, and then you get the small lights on his feet. And coming to the back here, the windows should sit a little bit higher, but I couldn't really do that. because this cable kind of gets in the way, and he doesn't really have much of a backpack on the CGI, but this is the best I could do. But I did get his little butt plates that you could briefly see them in one of the trailers. And despite how much bulk he has, he's very articulated. The head's a little bit fragile due to the connections, a lot of one stud things, so you kind of have to grab him by the sides, and he can look up and down. And shoulders are an extra hinge, and you can raise them, of course, and you can also bend the arms. And then the hands do have a little pivot for transformation and bicep rotation. And he unfortunately doesn't have anything at the waist, but his hips are pretty good. Rotate forward and some side movement. And the knees can get almost 90 degrees. And more impressively, these legs have a pretty good ankle pivot, and as well as some forward and back movement just for the transformation. So you could definitely pose him up, even though he's not a very athletic character. And mostly due to the transformation, his wings can kind of move up and down and have a decent range of movement. And for weapons, we have his 2 hand cannons, and they tab over his arms, and they reuse one of the tabs for vehicle mode, which is very neat, just like this. And like with my other Rise of the Beast builds, the cannons are compatible with the effect parts, like that. And of course, I also included some stands for the butterflies, so he can have a nice harmonious moment with nature. And here he is with Ravage and a minifigure. And with the last Studio Series Last Night Hot Rod and the Zaku 2. And here he is with Dark the Moon Wheeljack, and here are some very distinct looking designs. I definitely prefer Nerdjack or Pablo over here. Here he is with the rest of my Rise of the Beast Autobots so far, with RC, Mirage, and Optimus Prime. And you can see he's a little bit taller than Mirage, who is the average size for one of my car bots. And that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed Wheeljack here, regardless of what you think of the design. I think he turned out amazing. It was quite a challenge to make, especially working with medium nougat and trying to capture all his iconic details, like his glasses and suspenders. And yeah, I'm very happy that his transformation is really smooth, and I'd say he's second to Prime in terms of my favorite Rise of the Beast build so far. And of course, there are free PDF instructions on Rebrickable, so you can build them yourself. And yeah, that is it for this video. Let's say my next build is gonna be dropping really soon. See you guys.